Let's try to recreate it. Like, does that hurt?
No.
Why are you moaning?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. So,
what are we doing?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. But we jumped in here and we just decided just to do it. Hello. Morning. How are you? How things going?
Here we are.
How's your connection?
How is it?
Oh, hi. Hi.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, yes. That's wonderful. Wonderful to hear that you're great. And good morning from.
Oh, we miss you too. We really do. We live so close. It's kind of crazy. My, you know what is interesting is my daughter actually moved to Lima for
Kansas City.
About 3 months or something. Yeah, it's, you know what's interesting? Where's everybody from?
Yeah, you get Kansas City.
We're in Ohio. Oh,
we drove to the
Kansas.
state of Kansas. That's
no,
interesting.
I think are you in Missouri or in Kansas? Because that's so confusing. Kansas City, and then there's Kansas City.
Yes.
There's too many Kansas cities.
Yes.
We are in Ohio. Don't judge us. It's where I was born.
Oh, in Ohio too? Oh, okay.
Where in Ohio? I'm curious. What part of Ohio? Ugh.
Would love a video about running from yourself. I've been the runner and the chaser.
Ooh, Scotland. Dayton? Well, we're just in close to Lebanon. Right here. We're right up the street.
Yeah.
Come to Dayton a lot.
London in the UK. Okay.
London.
Yeah, Dayton. Okay.
Oh. She was born in Ohio too. I
was born in Lorraine.
I don't even know where Lorraine is, but I don't think it's too far.
It's not that far from here, I don't think.
Is it? I don't know. Maybe we should do a retreat out here again.
We
had a retreat out here.
Would any of you guys come?
A couple of years ago. We've had a couple little retreats out here, and it has been freaking awesome. The retreats out here have been great.
Kentucky in the house.
Oh, okay, Kentucky.
Okay, well, see what you did there.
You're doing so much better. You're doing so much better. There's still a little bit of work.
Oh, New York. We love New York. I'll go to the retreat. I need one. Okay. All right. Maybe that needs to be something we need to look at doing and make that happen.
Yeah. Lorraine's way up in Cleveland.
It's still, I mean, considering we've driven past it a couple times. Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you what, that trip to Cleveland is no joke.
No?
Oh, come up there for hockey.
Yeah. Oh,
New
Minnesota.
York.
We got some family in Minnesota.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Chaska, Minnesota.
Okay, all right.
Ohio's awesome.
Yeah, nothing really happens here.
I'm kind of, you know what? I'm kind of partial to all 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about Ohio is that we used to get all 4 seasons. Now we seem to get summer and winter.
Mm. Oh, Syracuse, New York.
Yeah. We do come to New York. We come to New York a lot. I love coming to New York, except for.
I actually like Buffalo.
I liked Buffalo. It was really nice. You know why
yes,
Buffalo?
We do come to Florida.
You know, we are coming to Florida this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what was nice about Buffalo? First of all, we was there for a hockey tournament, so it was really cool. And Niagara Falls was really, really, really cold. But the weather was super cold.
Yeah.
But we stayed in a hotel downtown, and it was Christmas time. And it was all decorated for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. And
the music and the ambiance was all Christmassy. And it was early in the Christmas season.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I don't know. It was so comforting to sit on the bench and wait for the car and listen to the Christmas music, and the Christmas decorations were up. It was really kind of cool.
Yep.
I really loved it. I have a sneeze coming.
Florida has one season, the hot one.
Florida does.
Yeah.
Florida does.
Florida vacation or something TF related.
Both.
Yeah.
We are really contemplating we are talking to, I'm going to look up the details of it. It's in the fall. In Bradenton, Florida, we are discussing a twin flame retreat type of thing with some other people, some other twin flames. So we'll see what happens there. Portugal is, I hear, is beautiful.
In Scotland. Portugal, living in Scotland. Nice.
Oh, okay.
North of Bradenton.
Yeah, we actually have a coach in Bradenton too, and so I have family in Venice. So when we came down before, we did what we call beach hopping. So we beach hopped, but we also did some seminars and webinars, not webinars, but seminars and meet and greets and things. So it was kind of cool that we did that, and we'll do that again. It was kind of awesome.
Donaldsville, Louisiana in the house.
Ooh, Louisiana.
Okay.
Man, we got to come to.
Yeah, we got a lot to do.
We got a lot of places to go.
We'll be there at some point. Trust.
Yeah, so I'm really contemplating putting a retreat together out here.
Venice Beach, yeah, we've been in Venice.
Venice Beach, shark teeth all over. Yeah. Yeah, they seem to wash up on that beach for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe you do.
Nottingham, UK. Yes.
Whoa. Yeah, we know where you're at. I hope you had a good walk this morning because you needed it, child. Let me tell you. Cannot wait to talk to you.
No.
Love you.
So, what questions you guys want to throw out there?
Let's keep it light and airy and maybe even fun. But if you really have a gnawing question at you.
I'm sure that union is happening for me now. I keep getting signs and messages and about uniting with other couples to raise the collective vibration. Okay.
Yeah.
I did indeed love you. That was the walk you were talking about.
Yeah.
I need to have a good walk. Yeah, walk is always good. It shows movement and makes you go places.
I hope she can swim because we're going to have her swim over here.
Guys, I got a question.
Let's do it.
Guy's talking to me. He knows I have a twin and he does too, but he says he's in love with me. Okay.
That happens.
And how do you feel about that, I guess, is the question.
That happens. It does. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. That happens.
My partner has an opioid addiction, and although we had clear boundaries, we were in a good place. He broke the relationship from on
one day to the next.
One day to the next. Should I allow him the space and try to rescue him?
Oh, let's talk about this real fast.
Okay.
And I can speak on this because I have a drug addicted daughter. I have tried to rescue over and over and over. She's 27 years old. I learned I cannot rescue her. She has to want to be rescued. And she has to want to take the steps to do that. And believe me, I've took the enabling route. I've took the tough love route. I've took so many routes. You cannot help him at this point. He can only help himself. All you can do is help you. All you can do is change you. Be supportive. Be loving. Be unconditional, but do not enable. That's the big thing. Do not enable in any way, shape, or form. Do not give him any money. If he's hungry, feed him. If he wants to talk and be there, watch a movie, whatever, certainly do that. But do not enable his addiction in any way, shape, or form. You're going to have to allow that space for him to figure that Make sense?
Of course, the bells and whistles aren't turned off.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right. Hugged a nice tree too. Yeah. Yes. Shut up.
love to swim. Okay.
You
I
do
don't
have feelings. Yes, you do. You gotta find them. They're in there. Why do I get this feeling my chest 5 times a day? Not pain, just a tingling. Oh, somebody's thinking about you.
Butterflies.
Yeah.
It's usually butterflies, and usually means keep your heart open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when you try to close it, that's when the pain comes in. Is seeing their name everywhere a sign or manifesting? Because that's what I'm thinking about.
I still. What's going on?
Everybody's trying to call us.
Yeah, but didn't we turn the bells and whistles off? I got this off.
Well, it's probably the do not disturb thing. But that's okay.
Okay. We had somebody tell us that they keep those on for a reason. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
They drive me nuts personally.
Okay.
Anyway, let me tell you, even now, and he's sitting right next to me, and we're in union, and we live together, and we're married, and we've done everything the universe has asked us to do, and we do our mission. We talk to Twin Flames all day, every day.
It was 11:11 when I just looked up just now.
And was it? We do what
Right
we're
here.
supposed to do, right? I still see his name everywhere. I still see it everywhere. When we're not physically together, if I run to the store, I see his name somewhere on something. We were in the same store yesterday. Please stop. Thank you. We were in the same store yesterday, same store. He happened to go down one aisle. I happened to go down another aisle. And some lady on the phone going, Lee, listen, Lee, you're not listening. Lee, listen. And I'm going, ooh, that sounds familiar. Oh, do all Lees not listen? No, I didn't say that. I had to throw that in there. But, so I was like, oh, for heaven's sake. So I left that aisle, right, to go find my Lee, right? When I came across somebody had dropped in an aisle some shampoo and some Lee press-on nails. So I picked them up and I put them back, right? And I walk over to the produce department where I saw some Lee tomatoes. And I'm thinking, well, Lee must be looking for me. And I turn around and there you were. Still happens. I believe it's just a message saying, this is it. I get it. How many times I've said I get it, but I do. Do you get it?
Do twin flames help each other become better people?
Thank God we met each other.
Ooh.
We could have destroyed the world apart.
I don't know. I guess they make you see the better that's in you, but you can also see the choice not to go to it. So it's almost like you have to make a decision inside whether you want to be a better person or not. But one thing that ends up happening is you get into your head about some things, and you usually keep trying to tell yourself you're going to try to be who you think they want you to be. And that's where that leads into that. So I think the genuine space of being able to be better people in this connection doesn't come from the connection. It comes from the connection you have to yourself and then the connection to each other. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah.
We've even together we have felt not good enough, but even together we felt good enough. So it's almost like we have to find the happy medium of realizing that sometimes being in your head doesn't necessarily dictate whether or not you can be better or not. So just look for the space where you don't judge that. Because judgment is exactly what Jesus Christ. It is the space where you know that it's about being better for yourself and to yourself. That's how you get better for other people. I have a question that I asked about your 9th episode. You were talking there about some other voice talking to you, not your thoughts. How do you know to tell the difference?
I'm going to answer that because I'm the one that gets it. I don't know if that question, well, wait a minute. Let's ask specifically, is that question for Lee or for me? Because there's a difference, because I am a medium and he is, well, he's got gifts. But he doesn't hear audible voices. At times you do.
The audible voices come through me.
Yeah. It's odd. So it's
Why is that odd?
No, it's your gift is odder than mine. That's not a bad odd, it's a good odd.
Thank you, Sherry. Lee, did you know the connection first?
Oh.
No. I think I was too far gone. I'm not sure. I have no idea. It just keeps going. And just we're people want to talk to us. I don't know. Let's see. Any messages from beyond? There were a lot of messages, I think.
Yeah, but you know who that is. So I believe she's asking. Go ahead.
No,
yeah.
You lost me. What? Any messages from beyond? Is that like the medium space of that?
Yeah, I talked to her family.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. All right. Okay.
And
that makes sense.
Maybe because I haven't focused too much on you and your situation. Maybe I should, because I feel like there's something. Yes. Yeah, and I'll message you with that.
I bet you guys seriously glowed up. Oh, cool. Oh, love the name Neo. So yeah, so thank you. That was awesome.
How long have you guys been in union from the very start to now? Oh, let's break this down. We met
2005.
2005. How long ago was that?
And then disappeared 2000 until 2007. 2007, 2009. We were intermittent. And then 2009, we went up and down all the way through 2012.
Which was the final separation.
The final separation came to a head in 2012, and we've been together since.
Yeah, we have not.
Yeah.
We've not separated since.
Yes.
So 12 was the final separation situation.
Yeah.
And until now, we've been legally married, for whatever that's worth. We had a wonderful ceremony. It was beautiful.
The magical part of our connection, the very powerful, mystical part of our connection is still at a very high vibration, or I shouldn't say high. I say it's a very strong vibration. I believe that it's still working its way through a lot of things that we still are going through. When we're,
seriously.
You know what?
Doesn't happen.
Robocallers should be done, but we'll get there. I would say that total time, even when we look back at everything we've been through, and even the ins and outs of running into each other, I would say we've always been connected, but never together.
Right.
So I guess you really have to, when you look at union, are you looking at it through those eyes, or are you looking at it through the eyes of physical? Because the eyes of physical really don't have. I mean, that's a part of the connection, but it's not the strongest part of the connection. I'm sure you guys can all understand that.
She said since you met until now. So it's, look, I have a calculator.
You made Jim break out the calculator.
You did.
Lee isn't.
14 years.
Wow.
14 years.
It doesn't feel like that.
I met you 14 years ago.
It doesn't feel that long.
It does not feel that long at all.
No, hardly.
Like really, it feels like
feels
just a couple months ago.
Yeah, it really does. So the tingling in me is me closing my heart. Is that right? No. The pain that starts to show up. The tingling part is, be in the energy of connection, be in the energy, be present. That's the best way to do it. Just be present, clear your mind, and just be in the vibration of what that feels like. If it gives you a little bit of tickling, that's awesome. But just stay in that energy, because that energy is very, very beautiful. If it's not hurting you, and the hurt shows up, I think, when you try to close it, right?
Hurt, yeah.
Yeah. So that's your part in it. If you keep your heart open, those butterflies will show up in real time. Let's see. I've always told Twin we'll either build
it up or burn it down. There it is.
There it is. Thank you, Lee. Yes. That's sort of goodness I feel really just thinking about it. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Lee, did you get any sign? Oh, I think the question that you were asking earlier, is that for me?
Oh, that was for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question
Okay.
that I asked you, and you were talking, there were another voice talking to you. Oh, not your thoughts. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, let me go back and explain. there is an audible voice when I'm sleeping that actually talks to me and asks me questions. And I'm not sure if that voice, it started in this connection when we came into this connection. And it's been very strong ever since, actually to the point to where sometimes it just comes out of me. Rather than, it's not like I need to know who the voice is, because the voice is helping me find my own answers inside. And I kind of can hear that with other people. I think I can see when those questions are trying to make their way into somebody and they're refusing to hear the question. Because anytime you end up finding an answer on the inside that's directly related or connected to the truth, you change. And you change connection. You change connection to yourself, and you change connection outside of you as well. So I don't know that it really, to me, I don't think it really, I don't think I've ever really, I tried to look for what that was before.
Was it your soul talking?
Well, it's interesting because remember I told you a few years ago, I asked the energy what it was, and it just spelled out M4TA. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Mm-hmm. And then I call it meta, I call it M. You remember M?
Yeah.
Meta, it was like, you kept hearing, you said you heard
I
M.
attributed it to Michael. Like Archangel Michael.
Well, I couldn't make out whether it was male or female.
Yeah.
All I made out of it was that it was energy, and energy was actually speaking through me to me.
Right.
So I guess I really didn't. Hopefully that answered your question, but that's kind of what it felt like.
And then she said, "But Sherry, please explain." So my answer is going to be completely different than his because I'm an audible medium. So I can tell the difference if it's my head, if it's my soul, if it's spirit. Spirit gives me different voices. I hear different voices, different messages. I can tell the difference if my soul's saying something to me, right? It's like my intuition saying, go, 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 go. Do this, do this, do this. Don't hesitate. Go, go, go.
Right.
And my head's going, stop. You're going too far. You're freaking me out. You're freaking me out. Right. And sometimes spirit comes in and says, who are you listening to? Right. It's interesting being me. And I know that there's someone in here that gets readings from me, and it's odd because spirit will bring me names and instances and things that I just couldn't know, and why would I want to? You know what I mean? I've got enough family drama myself. Sometimes spirit brings me messages from people that just I don't understand. So I have to give the message in order to receive the understanding. Some people don't believe in that. I don't have a choice. I've had it since I was 4.
Lee, did you get any signs like seeing her name even though you wasn't aware? Yes. Yeah, I think there were more times than not. I kept running into a Sherry. The song by Journey, Oh Sherry. I mean, it was just
not
like
Journey. That's Steve Perry. Don't
Steve Perry. What's the difference?
There's a difference.
Well, no, he is Journey.
Okay.
But anyway, it was like
he kind of is.
Journey and Sherry kind of mixed at that same time. It was interesting. But no, I did see a lot of them. I saw your name a lot. I kept feeling like I could see her eyes sometimes when I would close my eyes. It was like your eyes were right there. It was really, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like I could see your eyes when I closed my eyes.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but that's what it felt like.
I experienced that.
So hopefully that answered the question.
I have to tell you that I would be completely lost without you two. No matter where I end up, I know I'll be fine because of you guys. And you will be. And we'll be there with you every step of the way.
He was there.
15 years.
He was telling there about this voice. Oh, okay. You're talking about referring back to the voice that I feel your shared heart. That is beautiful. Oh, thank you. And you should reach out. Sherry, please explain.
I just did.
Okay, good. I have to tell you that I would be completely lost without you two. No matter where I end up. Okay, I'm running behind. Maybe Amber Alert. Okay. Yeah, 15 years. It's like 15 days.
I would have to express that the important thing is to not enter this union with an expected idea of one's acceptance.
Oh, that was really good.
Ooh.
I like that. That was awesome.
Ooh.
That's a really good way to look at it. It's really hard to not have any expectations or tell yourself what this connection is going to give you. What it's going to show you, how it's going to be, how you're going to end up, what you're going to be doing together, what your mission is. All of those things need both input. And when you try to do it without that, you actually kind of cut off the connection a little bit. At least that's what we found.
Yes.
When one person's going one direction, the other person's going another, and you're trying to say, hey, come on, I'm going this way.
Mhm.
And the other person's like, yeah, but we should go this way. I think that usually causes all kinds of ups and downs because the communication gets lost. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, so that definitely made sense. I saw your wedding yesterday in the video. It's beautiful. Thank you. 15 for me and twin. Okay. Calculator.
Hey, I'm
yes,
not
I
great
know.
at math.
She called a calculator. I hugged my TF the other day, squeezed and thought, open up that space. Been tingling and thumping ever since. Oh, that's wonderful. A good question, Sherry. How do you deal with the trauma of what your daughter is going through? That's tough, and I'm going through something similar.
I'm gonna tell you, it's really rough with being a mom. Here's the interesting thing about being a parent to a child who has an issue, has a problem. She has an addiction. Let's not sugarcoat it. And I'm going to give you kind of a backstory here. My daughter was a cheerleader in school. She was very popular. She still is a beautiful young girl. She's 27 years old. Beautiful young girl. And she was working a job, and she had a boyfriend, and they were arguing. And he came to her house to pick her up after work. Her and her friend had just got off work. They were 19, 20. She may have been 20, 19 or 20. I don't know. But yeah, something like that. And it was in 2012.
Yeah.
It was in 2012 when we were in separation.
Mm-hmm.
This happened while we were in separation. I didn't think I was going to make it. My daughter got into a car with her boyfriend and his friends. There was two more, and her friend. There was 5 of them in the car. And they were, the boys were so drunk they could barely speak. My daughter and her friend had just got off work. They were completely sober. But they were arguing, and he said, are you coming or not? And in the last ditch effort to get her attention, they squealed some tires, and the girls jumped in the car. They got in a horrific automobile accident in the car, and the car rolled 4 or 5 times. All 5 of the kids were ejected from the car. So some of them were care flighted, some of them were ambulanced in. My daughter landed face down in some water, and her boyfriend crawled over and got her and turned her over so she wouldn't die. My daughter had 2 collapsed lungs, a broken neck, a broken back, multiple wounds, and glass and sticks all in her. It was a mess. In the process, they put her on Percocets for pain, and the rest is history. Now she has an opioid addiction. Dealing with it in the beginning was, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I knew that something was not right, and we enabled her in many different ways. I tried to enable her in a nurturing way, and it just was only harming her. In her addiction, I've had to let a lot of things go. Mm-hmm. A lot of expectation on my part as a mother that she will find a great husband and live in a little house with a white picket fence and have a dog and a couple kids and go to soccer every day.
Right.
You know, that's your it was my vision. It was my vision. And I had those expectations for her. And the fact that she hasn't reached my expectations, I had to forgive myself and ask her forgiveness for me having that.
But what's interesting is probably since 2007, she was telling me she saw one of her kids in a really bad car accident and she lost it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the way that she was right, it actually was like a premonition of some kind, but it was a part of connection that I was like, wow. But at that point, I was still so disconnected. So I didn't show up. And I think, her going through that was really intense. I watch and I can see that the trauma of what the accident did, the pain that she was in, the opioids that were given to her kind of didn't help the pain. I mean, she still got glass coming out of her.
She still has glass coming out of her neck and her arms. Sometimes we have to grab tweezers and pull it out. And I'm going to say she's doing much better today than she was doing 2 years ago. 2 years ago, she was really down. She literally just got mauled by a pit bull a month ago, and it tore her face up. And now she's back in the bed sleeping with that dog again. So there's frustrations and there's traumas that continue, and I have to pick my battles. And I have to,
because she'll cut you off.
She'll cut me off, and I have to accept some things that I don't necessarily want to accept. I have to accept the fact that my daughter's an addict. That was big. I had to accept the fact that it wasn't my fault. That was big, because I hung on that for years. But get with us. Let's talk. We can talk. I can help you through some things. We both can, and we're managing this. We're handling it and helping her every way we can without enabling her.
That's cute. Sherry, how old were you when you were gifted?
Oh man, 4. As far as my memory can go back, I can remember being 4, and being 4 years old and back in the 70s. Yeah, I'm old. Don't judge me. I was 4 in 74. But I just can remember talking to people and saying names and things, and people having a crazy reaction. And I remember seeing doctors, and some doctors wanted to talk a lot, and it was fun. You know what I mean? But after seeing 3 or 4 and talking, I just didn't feel like talking anymore.
We got a rabbit that's climbing. It's interesting.
If the dogs wasn't enough.
Right.
So I was put in programs. And sent to doctors. And in kindergarten, I talked to my teacher, and I gave my teacher a message from her husband, who had passed just over the summer before she came back, and something about a book. There was some papers in a book that he needed her to have. And I told her where the papers were. I was 5. And she called my mom, and she
thought she'd been stalking you. Yeah, you got a bunny that's just... Why don't you get the bunny so back? So yeah, she knew early on. Also, Lee, what is your gift besides looking so handsome?
That's his only gift. This is Obi, or Obsidian, whatever you want to call him.
I'm trying to find the best way to answer this question. You know how everything's connected. Imagine being able to see through the eyes through that, and being able to see it down to the core of how everything's connected. So literally, I can actually follow the daisy chain of events, and then follow the daisy chain of how you're connected to all of those events, to understand the connection that you have to your own emotions, to be able to see all of that connects to how you think, and then how your soul is not even shaped by any of it. So it's almost like, I wish there was a better way for me to explain it to you, but if you can see through the eyes of connection, would you look inward or outward? And I think a lot of us are backwards in that. We want to look outward. I look inward. So yeah, that's Obi. the floppy-eared bunny.
Finish.
Can I
I'm
see?
intrigued by what you were saying.
So when you look at connection, I can see how our connections even intertwine their DNA at this point. I can see how our connections intertwine thought patterns and processes at this point. We've actually combined it in such a way that all I can see is connection. I can go outside and look at a tree and see, by looking at the tree, just pay attention and feel like the tree's alive and see how the roots have actually grown based on what they've done to the ground. I don't know why I have that, but I'm starting to understand it a whole lot better every time I look inside to see how I'm connected to everything. And then there's the audible voices that actually show up more when I'm in a very deep meditative state or sleep. And those voices actually question me the way I question everything. Because I think ultimately we're all looking for answers that we think are outside of us, when literally every single answer to everything, including the universe, is inside of us. So this is not, I don't know how deep it's supposed to go. I just know that it's deep, and I know that it's powerful. I know that it's amazing. I feel blessed to have it. I know that in our connection, it does nothing but intertwine us and bring us back together. And it keeps doing that in such a way that we can see how it shows up everywhere. So everything's connected, right? I mean, you find this connection that you start to really see that, but then you kind of almost lose sight of it, because the questions that you need to ask yourself is about your connection to yourself. So I would tell you that it has probably a greater purpose than I'm probably using it for. I'm just not sure when that's going to show up, but I guess we'll find out.
When it's supposed to, right?
Yeah.
But I want to wrap up the question before we were so rudely interrupted by one-eared bunny, by the way. He's listening with your one ear. He's listening with his one ear.
It just gets lazy.
So I was 4. And I went through a lot of doctors and psychiatrists and things to talk about my invisible friends.
Yeah.
Now I've embraced it and I know what I'm hearing.
It's interesting because when I took my Strength Finder, my top one was connection. But I never knew it. So let's see.
I gave up. I'm sick of it. Plus, she went back to her ex. Well,
here's the thing.
How's that giving up thing going for you?
Oh, well. I think is there a difference between giving up and letting go?
There is.
And is there a difference between giving up, letting go, and then being connected anyway?
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Because even when I let go or gave up, I realized that I had to become comfortable and become loving in the connection the way it was. And once that happened, you started calling me more. It was interesting. Didn't realize my energy was doing one thing while it should have been doing another.
I'm going to say goodbye to Obi.
Yes.
Say goodbye, Obi.
I'm married over 20 years, and let's talk.
Maybe not.
Okay. I talked with my
DM
for 2 weeks, and now I'm going crazy. What to do looks like a dream. 6 months of no communication. Or, I have a question about communication. Do you realize that there's communication through silence?
Yes.
And what do you think the communication is?
It's are you talking about when we're riding in the car sometimes?
Well, that's being, which is that's the same communication. Being, if you can't be comfortable in silence by yourself, you won't be comfortable in silence with somebody else. So how you communicate is going to be found in how you can actually embrace silence rather than being away from it. Because a lot of things can get jarred in your thought patterns if you're not accepting silence. And that causes all kinds of noise.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and that noise keeps you kind of separate from each other. So I would tell you, enjoy, I'm about to say some Depeche Mode shit. Enjoy the silence.
Oh, boy.
What is the one secret with keeping such a connection for so long as you've been together?
The connection does it itself.
Yeah, I don't think it's a secret.
No,
I think
it's not. Yeah,
we pretty much put these out so you know it's not.
Interesting question. Here's the thing. This connection is a very 5D thing. It's a very spiritual connection. However, we live in a 3D world. And we live with each other.
Mm.
And we work together. And we eat together.
Mm-hmm.
And we sleep together. And that sounds bad, but it's not. We're together all the time. And we're not dead. We haven't killed each other. Neither one of us has snapped. The connection holds itself together if we don't allow 3D things to penetrate it.
Mm.
That's the secret there. Letting 3D instances and conflict and finances and family drama and car repairs and electric bills and yard work interfere with the connection. That's when you run into trouble. And we catch that pretty quick these days.
Yeah, I think
we catch it pretty quick.
The world is our world. I think we realize that we are actually the keepers and lovers of our world, and I think if we lose sight of that, I think that's when we let outwardly world things affect us. Mm-hmm. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And I think that's how we really kind of we stay in our world, because there's so much love in it, and God, her kisses are so great. Yes, I said it. And the sound, I didn't know that was distorted. Is anybody else noticing? Because I just saw a message that our sound is distorted. That I'm checking our volume, and it looks like it's okay. So hopefully it's not doing that. Let's see. What do you think about the theory of multiple TF?
Man, I got to put out a disclaimer. This is only my belief system. It's not even this. My belief system. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, that in our live yesterday. I believe we have many, many, many soulmates, and we connect with those people. Sometimes we marry those people, and we're together for 50 years or 60 years or 70 years even. I fully believe that. I believe that there is one person that has that same energy,
frequency,
same frequency. There it is.
Vibration.
And you can be across the world. Lee and I were not born in the same state. Even we were born in the same country, as luck would have it, but we were not born in the same state. We have no reason to be sitting here together. As fate or as luck, as the universe would have it, we found a way to each other. Not just now. When we were children, when we were young, we crossed paths. And if you haven't seen our journey, that explains all that, where we did run into each other a couple times, multiple times, when we were young. And I felt that connection, and I knew something was odd. And when I met you and we put those things together, it just blew my mind. I don't believe in, personally, multiple twin flames. I just don't. And that may be my only personal belief system, and not anybody else's, but that's mine.
And mine kind of goes along with what I was shown. Everything's connected. And it's not necessarily that you can have multiple TFs. Everything's connected. You need to find the connection back to the backstory of the connection. So if you've experienced multiple connections throughout your experience, you will actually believe or have a thought pattern in the background that says you can have multiple something. And it's so deeply rooted because you don't really look for it, but it's actually going to be found in what you've told yourself or what your story has been since you've been here. So I think we look at it more as an individual experience, or actual experience where we actually have to look and say, hey, what's the backstory behind this. If you don't listen to that part, you can't understand where the belief system is originating from and why it gets validated. So look for that, the validation of why you would think you could have multiple connection. And we've seen big families, we've seen small families, we've seen all kinds of different things that actually have some impact on why you experience multiple connections or need multiple connections with this connection. Can literally feel my heart aching for you. Thank you for your response. My internet here sucks. It disconnects. Oh, your connection disconnects. Good message.
Just messaging me.
Obi is so cute. I named my son Skinny Thick Obi.
Let me tell you, this rabbit adventure, we started with a few. Hi, Gemma.
Oh, hi.
And,
no, I don't need you up.
Oh, she needs to be up in the video today.
You want to say hello to everybody?
Say hi, Gemma.
Say hi, everybody. Say hi. Say hi, Gemma. Gemma, say hi. You usually will say something.
So she feels like we need shower.
No, she's feeling like we don't give her.
There she was.
I thought you were going to talk. Can you do something? Go find the rabbit.
Yes. Go play with Obi. Yeah. Thank you. You're best buddies.
It's interesting. All the animals in this house all get along. It has a lot to do with our connection.
It does. I got this little rabbit adventure going on out here, and I'm fairly certain the two pair I've got are twin flames. It's funny, but I love them. They're great. They're calming. They're great therapy animals, and Obi's a hot mess.
Yes, Sherry, I
want to. Yeah, we got to go down just a little bit. I haven't. Let's see. I have another question. During your 2-year separation, how did you eventually could forget Lee and move on? What made you move on? Was it something specific or just time made it easier? I never forgot Lee. I definitely need to say that because I felt the connection and I knew that there was something different there. I knew that Lee could see things that a lot of other people couldn't. I felt differently. Getting him out of your head, getting him out of the head, that was my cue, right? Lee wasn't ready. He was off doing multiple things. I said things. I didn't mean to say.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, he was busy. And I wasn't going to sit around and wait for him to get it together. I was going to do what I was going to do regardless. I didn't want that type of mess in my life at that point either, because I had children and I didn't want to look over my shoulder to see where the one that I was with was, what he was doing, who he was with, what time he was coming home, any of that mess. I didn't want those big trust issues in a relationship, let alone a union.
I think, can I ask a question? I believe you chose stability and you knew that wasn't me, but it's interesting because when you chose that in our connection, everything in my life was trying to make me stable. That was interesting. Looking at it now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if that's actually what happened. Right?
For sure. And I never forgot you. I just wow.
Gemma, she's just active. Okay.
I just forgave you. I gave up the hope that your past could be any different.
Right. Thank you.
She clearly needed to go outside. Yeah, I don't know that was the hardest separation for me, because Lee wasn't in a space of union at all. He was in a space of continuing to do what he was going to do, regardless of what anybody said, right, or did.
Right.
He had a mission, and that was his mission, and I didn't want to be a part of that. I had kids. So stability was big for me. It was our last separation that was the hardest in 2012 when we both moved on with other people. That I had to realize, and one night it just happened when I was laying in bed. I had to have the realization that I was always going to be connected to Lee. Always going to be connected to Lee, no matter what, no matter who I was with, no matter what I was doing in life, I was going to be connected to him. And we would probably touch base once or twice a year just to see how we were doing. And I was perfectly content with that at that point, right? And so I moved on and was seeing someone else, and as was he. I was content and I was okay with that. And I allowed myself to enjoy that. And I allowed myself to be comfortable in being with someone else. And it taught me many, many things. It may have been one of the best things I've ever done. It really taught me a lot because I was able to just be me. All my shit, blah, here it is, handed on a platter of vomit, right? And he accepted it.
Yummy.
He accepted it. And then I realized that he wasn't the one that I wanted to accept it. In those frustrations, when I was trying to explain to this guy about this big connection and how it works, how relationships and union work, and we talk, and there's so much openness, and there's so much freedom, and there's so much trust, and there's all this stuff, and it's a fairy tale, is what I got. You know what I mean? That shit's not real.
I think everybody runs into that, though.
That shit's not right. It's not real. It's fake. It's a cult. So much shit. And then in expressing this to Lee, like, I'm really frustrated with this. Even in an email, I'm really frustrated with this reaction that I'm getting. And it's like, you're the only one that gets it. You're the only one that gets it. And I can't talk to anybody else about this because you're the one I'm connected to. And in those talks and in those moments is when we reconnected.
Yeah.
So it's not about forgetting. It's about accepting.
Good. Well put. I keep getting the message, believe in the connection and trust in it.
Yeah.
You might want to look and see trusting in yourself, if that's what connection you're referring to. Because that message usually points to that. Let's see, sounds okay on my end. I guess you can say I've let go, but I find myself thinking about her on a consistent basis with a roller coaster of emotions, especially anger, lots of anger. We never dated. She ran, but when she saw I tried to move on, she came running back. This has been going on for over 4 years. She has a very similar birthmark in her chest to mine, and I didn't even know that when I first met her and fell for her hard. So why is there anger? I think, when you have a roller coaster of anger, it's okay to, I found that when I was thinking about Sherry, I would come up with all the things that she did or didn't do, or what she was doing, who she was with, where she was at, what she was doing. And then I finally just said, wait a minute, I've never had this kind of a connection in me. Am I rejecting the connection or am I accepting of it? Even if we're not together. If you don't reach that space, you'll never figure out what your anger is. Because my anger was things weren't the way I wanted it to be. But the connection didn't care about that. So that was my resistance. Are you accepting being connected? Whether you're together or not, you're together in that connection. So why make anything into a problem? Does that make sense? Hopefully that resonates somewhere. Twins equal 2.
Thank you. Otherwise it would be triplets or quadruplets or sextuplets.
There's only one looking at the split.
Twin sextuplets.
Yeah.
So we know what sextuplet flames.
I've seen it though.
I gotta stop.
In the dream I kept having where the things kept colliding and then all kinds of particles went separate ways.
Yeah.
And the particle size was the difference in the strength of what you feel.
Gotcha.
But the actual connection itself, it's the same thing. It's like when you add a drop of water to water, it still becomes part of it. So it's not like you're not going to feel connection and different. It's just the degree in which you're going to feel it is going to be, it's going to be difference in strength of what you're going to feel.
Right.
So I think when you think there's multiple, the strength of which you feel something, and we've seen this. I feel stronger for this than this other person, and you see you're talking about the intensity of what you're feeling. The feeling itself doesn't necessarily have anything. It's when you get your thoughts involved in that feeling that you start to kind of question whether you can have multiple. But there is one strong feeling that just makes it all thought just go away. Look for that.
Yeah. Oh,
it jumped.
It jumped. I don't know where we were.
We're right on.
Okay.
Super helpful, insightful.
Thank you.
Hi, Gemma.
Does the rabbit use a litter box? Yes, she does.
Yeah, trained.
She does. She uses a litter box in the house. I keep her in the cage at night in the office. She runs around the living room at night until she's still old enough, or she's still young enough to get under the couch, which drives us nuts at night because we can't hardly catch her to get back in her cage because she doesn't want to go. But I also don't want her chewing up electrical cords and stuff, so I try to put her in the cage at night. But she's litter trained.
Mm-hmm. I can't get past being in a box standard human relationship, so much so I've been celibate for almost 2 years, as even just the thought of being in a relationship with someone else would feel fake. Hell,
the root camp would pull you right out of that, girl.
Yes.
Right out of that.
You know what? It also sounds like what you've done is you've actually cut off connection to yourself, because how are you listening to yourself on what you do want? So if you're not, it's kind of like how you went after stability, because that's what I wasn't able to provide at that time. You actually kind of help along the person you're connected to figure some things out. It's when you don't move that nothing moves. So reach out to us. Maybe we can help you.
For sure. So when Sherry chose stability, you became stable?
Yeah. Well, no, stability. I got infected with stability because remember my career changed first, and then my personal life followed behind it, because it was that's kind of how I was raised. So it literally had the same impact in the same way. But when I did talk to her, she had stability. And, that kind of dawned on me that I wasn't stable. So it was almost like a helpful thing rather than a hindrance. Does that make sense? Because then I would be like, well, why don't you come see me? And she would come see me, but she literally wasn't going to choose me because there was nothing about me that was stable. But then when I needed to look at what was stable in me, I couldn't find it either. So I started to realize maybe there's some things that I'm not really focused on. So it kind of helped, because she did ask a lot of questions, and I would kind of skirt the question, which wasn't stable. So I started finding
answering questions with question feeding around the book.
Well, that's when I started hearing those audible voices stronger.
I would say your silence is deafening. It's you know what I mean? It's just so loud. And you would say something along the lines of, what does silence mean to you? Yeah, well, it means I want to choke you, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to choke you now.
No.
Yesterday.
Over the last few weeks, I've not been the easiest person.
Oh, neither one of us have, let me tell you.
When you were young, did you always know you were blessed with gifts and being led?
Yes. Through the, and to kind of, to recap, when I was talking to my kindergarten teacher, and the kindergarten teacher got a hold of my parents and said, oh, for heaven's sakes, and got a hold of my parents and said, hey, this child's giving me some information, and I checked it out, and there was some papers, and
well, no, I'm thinking.
Anyway, anyway, that's cute. So, yeah, I knew, and I felt spirit led. It was hard for me to keep going spirit led. We went spirit led when we started this mission of helping other twin flames. We went spirit led when we created Root Camp. When we created the certification program, it was all spirit led. Yeah. I knew. I couldn't tell anybody, but I knew. Then, of course, when I became a teenager, I used it as a party favor, and it wasn't such a good idea. I stopped doing that. I went to a couple years of solid meditation and finding myself and disconnecting from getting off the grid whatever the grid was back in 2002. The grid was just beginning to form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I knew for sure.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So do I feel love, but not acceptance? Does that make sense? That makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
Is love possible without acceptance?
Depends. And I don't, yes, I love my daughter, but I do not accept her choices and her addiction. I accept her as a person. I accept her love, but I don't accept the addiction. And I don't allow it to come between my relationship with her as much as I can. I'm going to add that in there because it's hard. It's really hard.
Is it possible to raise a family with someone dealing with addiction? Is it selfish to walk away from the connection?
Addiction's tricky, man, because it can turn a life and a family upside down, not only financially, but mentally and emotionally. It's not selfish to walk away from the addiction. It's not. You can only help yourself. You can't help, they have to want to help themselves. And that is hard to hear. It's hard to hear coming from a mother who has to sometimes use that tough love tactic or say something to her that is hurtful but helpful, or to not give her what she's asking for.
Right.
And then I feel guilty and bad, and I will go cry it out. I will go cry it out by myself. You know what I mean? And just try to cry it out. Right? It's I don't know, man, if it's possible to raise a family with someone dealing with addiction, because the family doesn't come first. The addiction comes first. And that's where you have to stop and find out, go inside and find your worth, because you're worth being chosen over an addiction. And there's so much involved in that. And I really am feeling led to run a program on being connected, whether it's to yourself or with somebody else, and having or being connected to someone who has an addiction, right? Or even a family member or something. I'm feeling led to do that. I'm going to do that.
I would tell you that Root Camp has actually done a lot of healing and addiction.
Yeah, we do a lot of addiction-based root camps.
And the addiction that we have found is that it's a refusal for somebody to go into their pain. That's why they're actually doing these kinds of behaviors or repeating a behavior. And there's never been a space where somebody just said, hey, it's okay for you not to be okay. Just tell me how you feel. And then ask them about what they're actually feeling to find out what's driving the addiction. Because like I said, the addiction is it's a way that you can abandon your pain. It's a way that you can reject your pain. But if you actually get space where you start letting that out, you actually go into healing. Addiction is a coping mechanism. We do that to cope through what we can't face or go through because of something we're telling ourselves. And if you listen deep enough, you can find that that's connected to why it's connected to addiction. So that's the way that you can help somebody through that. So, oh Lord, this speaks to me. I just told my twin all these things. He's still around. He's crazy.
We all are batshit crazy. Let's not forget that.
I started seeing someone else about 8 months ago. First BF, boyfriend in 10 years. First sex in 5 years. Always felt TF and even told the BF about TF. Chose to leave the BF, but learned so much through the experience. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Never avoid what the universe sends you. I feel like there's always a message in everything.
do you think and this is what we've seen, you blame the person that you're connected to for your loneliness.
Correct.
You blame the person you're connected to for not choosing you. You blame, and then you stay in this you don't even see it. You think you're in a peaceful state, but literally you become peaceful with loneliness. Right. And then you make it about the other person in this connection, whereas there's things that you still need to learn and go through that you stop yourself from experiencing and you stop yourself from living. And the other person goes into that stagnant state with you. So they actually stay in the distance based on that. And it's connected. It's connected to you and it's connected to what you're going through. But if you're not making any movement or experiencing things that you still need to learn, what is it that because we want to point at the other person and say, you got to fix you. I'm not going to be with you until you fix you. So
right.
That's the space where you can actually change that.
Can we skip down real quick and then we'll come back up and
Sure.
comment? Look, go pay your electric bill using outside sunlight to show video. Oh. Let's comment on that. That's cute. That's cute. Because sunlight's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it illuminates this room. But if our electric wasn't on, how are we on the internet?
Oh, well, I think it's our lighting. We're using those LED lights, and I don't know about them, but
I don't even. But anyway.
This room is actually pretty bright if you're sitting here, but yeah. I think it's the camera on this Mac.
I don't know.
I
just thought that was cute.
It adjusted. Thank you.
That was straight from the welfare office too, so we can't. Straight from the welfare office. I'm sorry. Let's go back up. I thought it was annoying.
Okay.
Let's see. At the start of my twin flame journey, my twin flame didn't accept my care for him. Now he does and acknowledges his feelings for me too. But still refuses to go out on dates in public with me. I don't know what to make of this. There's something going on there. There's a root to that.
And the root is.
And it may not be what you think it is.
Right. But the root could be that maybe he's afraid that out in public you'll change how you view him because of how other people do. It could be something very deep rooted.
Yeah, we need a little bit of a backstory on that.
Yeah. When I look at you, is that brain connection I miss.
Oh, thank God. I don't want to be connected to your brain. Do you want to be connected to my brain?
Oh, I already try to stand in between you and your thoughts, and I notice that causes all kinds of disruption and connection.
Oh, you don't want no.
Well,
part of this.
We've talked about it, but we probably should do a series of it, or maybe do a different kind of thing where we can actually talk about how you want the person you're connected to stand between what you think they are. Mm-hmm. Because it's almost like you're in a constant battle with who I think you are and who you actually are. I want what I think you are in the form of acceptance, but who you actually are gets missing.
Right.
Until you realize that's what you're doing, you get stuck there. And a lot of people get stuck there. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
The first time ever, I recently observed my DM in 5D giving me a crazed look, hard stare, shoulders moving from huffy breathing. I was like, okay, not sure how to process this. Well, there's no judgment in 5D. So are you sure that it wasn't a 3D experience pointing at 5D?
Mm-hmm. We got interrupted by the welfare office.
I've been on the TF journey physically with them for 2 years now. Congratulations. I told my TF I could choke the shit out of you.
It's probably not a good idea, but the thought's fine.
Yeah, you have that. Your journey is beautiful. You both are so spiritual. You both are so spiritual. Watched till the 9th episode, and only then I understood that you can't force anything. Everything will happen when it's time.
I know the episode she's talking about. No, you can't.
Should 5D communication stay in 5D, or can you respond in 3D? 5D created silence. So when you try to experience 5D and 3D, how are you in silence? How do you accept the silence that's around you? How do you accept the silence and connection? Mm-hmm. I would look for that. I'm high, help me. Ooh.
Sounds like you've already helped yourself.
Well, actually, hit us up if you need some help.
Kind of depends on what you're high on. Life, love.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, email us.
Yeah, we'll help you.
You should do that for sure. Amen. Look at yourself.
Look at yourself before you look at your twin. Man, oh man. Statement of the year.
Or look at your twin, show you yourself.
Yeah, ooh, I think, yeah.
Yep.
Are twin flames automatically compatible, or it's not a twin flame? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
No.
Not at all. I have met twin flames who actually have been married to other people, and they have a friendship, and that is as far as it goes. And their spouses understand, and they never cross any boundaries.
Yep.
And they still have a connection. They just can't stand to be with each other in the 3D realm together at all times. It's perfectly fine.
Yes.
And it can be beautiful. It can be beautiful. It really can be beautiful.
Yes.
Oh Lord, we've been on an hour.
Yeah, we will. Let's see. That would be perfect. I gotta hop on here and pick up sister. Okay, don't forget to got you. If my TF and I were marrying each other so much, or marrying each other, and I really want to be in union with him, why does it seem like he doesn't want the same thing? The why doesn't it seem? So what you've done is you've actually put all of his actions and behaviors and created thought out of it that you think that he thinks, but without actually listening to what he actually thinks. Try that. I know sometimes it takes us masculine energy a while to come up with our words, but maybe it's about your patience and presence instead of worrying about what the future holds or what you think needs to happen down the line. You guys can't be in alignment until you get past that part. We have to go. We have somebody waiting, but we love you guys.
Look, if you're watching this video, just like we said yesterday, we have a heck of a special we're gonna do. Look, if you want to do root camp with us, Obi, if you want to do root camp with us, and you're looking at the website, and root camp is pretty pricey. But we usually run a special that's 5 sessions for $500 for root camp. We're doing 6 sessions for $500 yesterday and today. And
that's going away. You're going to stop doing
that's going away. We're going to stop doing that. But if you want to get on that, hey, it's worth a try, and it'll change your life.
Yep.
It will change your life.
Your connection.
It will. If you have any questions about it, please ask us. And if you would like to talk for a quick 30 minutes today, we can probably get a couple in today. Please get a hold of us at info@relationshipreinvented.com. That's info@relationshipreinvented.com. If you want to do what we're doing, if you want to sit there and do what we're doing by yourself or with somebody else or whatever, please get a hold of us. We're going to run a heck of a special on our coaching certification program. We're taking a significant amount off through today. So if you get this on the 20th of May, 2019, then get a hold of us.
Yes.
Leah's
I typed it out.
Leah's putting the email address on there. We will be available by email today. So get a hold of us, and we will get you on our personal schedule.
Yeah, we love you guys. Wait a minute. Should we answer that or no?
Yeah.
A lot of twin flame guidances and life coaches say to completely reach a level of detachment from your DM. Like, I understand not setting expectations and creating attachments, but isn't it okay to be well balanced while still desiring union at healthy levels and walking each day still loving your twin unconditionally? Hit us up, email us. Email us and let's talk to you directly. All right.
That's interesting.
We love you guys. Yes.
Yeah, email us. Yeah. We'll try to answer the rest of these questions online or under. If you'd like to talk to us for a complimentary 30 minutes today, please let us know.
Yes.
info@relationshipreinvented.com. Let's go.
Be a coach in here. See you soon.
Bye.